when you're young, you believe that it will work out somehow. Confidence, naive, innocent, whatever. You don't understand the mechanisms of the industry. We still have that dream of building exchange for media into a one place marketplace for everything media.
Yet another unstoppable human, yet another episode. And today he is someone who comes. Okay, I'll let him do his own introduction, but someone who comes from journalism, someone who has been at the helm of changing the landscape of media and doing lots so much more for the generations ahead. None other than Dr. Annurag Batra.
Thank you, Mamta.
Yeah. So lots that is there known about you, and yet to me, there are so many parts of you which are mystery. एक तो आप टाइम कहाँ से लाते हो सब कुछ करने के लिए इतना कुछ you've been donning so many hats and we've been seeing it like in my whatever little journey of 15-20 years in PR media. We've been seeing you do so much. Where do you get all this time?
See, time is, I keep telling people, tell me you're busy, my friends. So I said, you meet busy people, they're busy because they make time for things and people and ideas. So I think time is, I safeguard my time very, very jealously. So, there is a team, so it may look like I'm doing it, but yes, I may be leading it, but there's a team, things are delegated. I show up, and pretty much I also don't do anything else. So I don't really have a social life. My social life is around my friends from work, who are close friends. Only on Sunday I spend time with my family. And whatever, again, I can give you logical reasoning. I enjoy doing what I do. And for everything I do, I find a person who can work with me to be able to then do it full time. And I guide, I mentor, and I show up. And my job is to be able to allocate money, resources, flesh in the idea, improve the idea, and say, let's take a leap of faith. So, I show up because, God makes it happen. I don't know. I'd like to show up for everything, but I don't show up for everything. But when it comes to my work, yes, and I spend most of my time in Businessworld, 99%. I show up for one or two E4M things, but really that's where I spend time. But exchange for media is very important to me. It's like my first child. I keep saying I have exchange for media, Prarthana, Prasan, and Businessworld. So, so really it's like a child. So, and I'm very passionate about the domain, what happens in the domain. I have a point of view. It's a point of view that the industry wants to know. It's a point of view that is formed by talking to players in the industry. I'd like to bring out all the points of view. And again, as you rightly said, Mamta, our industry is changing. Look how big is digital, it's mainstream. Look how big is programmatic. Look at the creator economy. The whole ecosystem has changed. What is the role of communication in this ecosystem? What is the role of advertising? So really, there is so much happening, and ours is truly an ideas-based economy. So if you can build around those ideas, there are interesting initiatives to be curated, there are interesting conversations to be done. So it's a fun domain.
Yeah.
Yes, it's anything that you want to do it in a way that it impacts the ecosystem. You have to put your heart, soul, sweat in it. And I keep saying this to you in my offline conversations, that whatever you dream, God will make it happen.
Yeah.
If you really, there is serendipity, there is law of attraction, whatever you want to call, it happens. God makes it happen. And I'm a big believer. And what most important is to be showing up for things and believing you can make it happen. And when you make efforts, I genuinely believe it's like I've given the simplest example. If you are on a very busy road and you believe you can cross the road, there's a good chance you will. Of course, one should be cautious because one can get hit by the traffic. But more often than not, or almost 100%, if you think you can cross the road, more often than not, or mostly 100% you cross. Similarly, when it comes to initiatives, if you put that energy that you have the capability to do it, and you put the right effort, God gives you the right results.
Very beautifully said, and quite an analogy, I would say. But, when you start out as a professional, as someone who's just beginning, right, your journey, work, you don't have so much clarity. The
No, you
ambitions are
don't.
not all that writing on the wall for you.
Not at all. I have no clarity. In fact, I was with someone on, I don't know, on Saturday or Sunday or Monday. Saturdays, it has pre-Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Today's Tuesday. And he said, "Oh, tell me, how did you do this?" And I said, honestly, I didn't plan for any of this. I didn't go to a journalism school. I went to a business school. I went to an engineering school. Me and my partner started this to build a B2B marketplace for media. That didn't happen. We had started a newsletter. It became popular. We started doing content. The content became good. And then we built events. They became big. So, we just kept building. And, maybe 3-4 years into the work, I went to the US. I saw what other players and the leading players in this domain do. So some bit of inspiration came from that. And some ideas come from the stakeholders. They tell you what should be done. So honestly, the first 3-4 years were very tough. We started with 70 lakh of rupees, which an angel investor friend of mine gave. Actually, a friend who became an angel investor. And we started the company in June 2000. And in May 2001, I got married. The company wasn't doing well. Two of my co-founders gave more equity to another fourth person who was doing introduction for us. And he took equity for that. And they, without telling me, they committed. And then we had to deal it with for almost 15 years to buy that equity back for a lot. So, we had no clue. We took one step at a time.
Yeah.
And then God helped us, We work very hard. But the industry supports us truly.
Yeah.
So I think I always feel a sense of responsibility towards my industry colleagues and the industry leaders, especially those people who supported us 20 years back.
Yeah.
Now we are known, we have a team, but at that time, we had a very small team, we had very little money, we were young. So for people to believe in us, to be able to support us, to be able to continuously partner with us. I mean, imagine this has been the 19th year of Pitch Madison Advertising Outlook.
Wow.
Mr. Sam Balsara agreeing to do it with us 19 years back. Because our current business model, we've been doing it for only 20 years, though we'll complete 24 years this year.
Yeah, technically. Yeah.
And next year we'll be completing 24 years. But we've been doing what we've been doing for 20 years. And out of that 19 years back, Sam thought we were okay to partner on the Pitch Madison Advertising Outlook. So really, I think it's people like Sam Balsara and many other people. CVL Srinivas, who's the country manager of WPP, because our core audience was media planning buying. That's how we started. Then we brought in marketers, and then we brought every stakeholder, including communication professional. So really, Mr. CVL Srinivas wrote a column for us 21 years back. And I could, with their time, they've been kind. Mr. Raj Naik, there's a friend of mine who's up in heaven. His name is Rohinton Mallu. He died in 26/11. He gave us office space in Bombay to start. And we didn't know too many people. He would introduce me to everyone.
Wow.
So really, I mean, these are people, Mr. Raj Naik was among our first few advertisers. Ms. Ambika Srivastava and Dr. Kiran Karnik, they were at Discovery, who was actually our first advertiser. And Star was the number 2 advertiser. And so on and so forth. And the numerous media companies that have really put their faith in us. Everybody in the marketing tech, ad tech ecosystem, in the communication tech ecosystem. So really, our colleagues who have worked, there are at least 70, 80 colleagues that have worked more than 12 years and still working at E4M. I mean, on 19th April, I called a colleague of mine. Her name is Sneha Walke. She's in Bangalore. She doesn't work with us for last 1 year. But she worked 12 years with us and built her South business. She's turned an entrepreneur. She took 1 year off, said, we make her work too much, and Mamtaa, I can keep cracking this joke. In exchange for media, we had 3 colleagues of ours. We have now 2 of them who worked more than 12 years with me. One Sneha, she quit last year, and she would complain that you make me work so much that I'm still unmarried. Of course, it was not true. Then there is Tripti Kedia, who's the publisher of our real estate magazine, Realty Plus. Tripti's worked 17 years with us, and she's unmarried, right? Of course, this has nothing to do with me or
You're
a work.
definitely doing something
And
to the
Noor, who's
marriages.
completed 21 years working with me, first 11 years with Exchange for Media, and now 10 years with BW. So there are many long-standing colleagues who contributed enough.
Yeah.
And some of them So I could go on. And organization cannot be built without people.
Yeah.
So really, you engage with some of my colleagues at Exchange for Media.
Yeah.
So really, it has been built because of the industry support, a lot of hard work from my team members and senior leaders and leaders at the middle management, junior level. And third is the fact that God blesses us. We were at the right place at the right time. We kept growing what we have. We kept reinventing, and we are dreaming big for the last few years. So hopefully we launch Exchange for Media outside India,
Wow.
in MENA, in Indonesia, in other countries in APAC. So really, it's, as they say, once you are on the journey, the path appears.
Yeah.
Trust me, I say it philosophically, but it's true for work, business,
Life.
any initiative
Yeah.
you take up.
Yeah. No, you do make it sound very simple. And I know this comes from that, that part of you which is so humbly grounded. But are you someone who is then only holding the intent because you are the master manifester?
So no, I do hold intent. I'm a dreamer. I do think, I see things and I say, and these days I've become, you may find me talking in the air, talking to myself, because, sometimes I'm talking and saying, God do this and God do that. And I'm thanking God. I mean, the people who sit near me or who know me, see me doing this. But once you say that, your brain gets wired to work on it. But, I won't attribute it to hard work. Hard work to bahut log karte hain. There is something which I don't know.
Yeah, it's higher power.
There is something which
Yeah.
makes things happen.
Yeah.
It's not just about hard work.
But when you realize that and you realize that you are the channel for that to manifest, then you feel responsible too, right?
Yes, I do, and I give my best.
Yeah.
And I was talking to someone whom I recommended for a job today, and she was thanking me. I said, if it needs to happen through me, I am just a channel. It's not that I don't feel good about it. I do, but I know I'm only a channel.
Channel, totally.
And that is 15 years back. I used to think I got somebody a job, because I try for very close friends of mine who I really believe in professionally. But it hasn't happened for some of them in spite of my tries for 5-7 years.
Absolutely.
So there is something which I don't know.
Karma.
No, there is some preordained, as they predestined, karma, whatever, prarabdha, whatever you want. There is something which is beyond a simplistic equation of putting in effort and getting. There is something more to it. I
I'm
don't
curious to know because when you started your journey and the problem that you wanted to solve for the industry, it was a very scientific, technology-led, innovative, solution that you were making and mending for the community, for the sector. To cut to 20 years later where you are today, and if you reflect back and you say this is all preordained and I'm a channel, like how does it really fit in?
First of all, I think I dream about building a marketplace now. One, the environment is very receptive, the stakeholders very receptive. We have tremendous credibility. We have relationships. We have the base. So my favorite, if you wake me up in sleep, I'd say through content you build community, through community you build commerce/marketplace, and while you do this, there is a responsibility of cognition, which is knowledge creation. So I think the time to do it is, of course, the whole system is digital. There are digital marketplaces, there are programmatic marketplaces. We wanted, this. I think if it needs to happen, it'll happen now. We have to believe we can make it happen. Once we believe, the God will find ways to make it happen. But the environment has changed. As I said, there is already marketplaces. People are more used to doing work. Even in commodity, there are marketplaces in steel, in energy. in metals of various kind beyond
Yes,
steel,
yes.
in building materials. So B2B marketing places are thriving, which was not the case when we started 24 years. So it's the right time to go back to building a marketplace. It could be
And
next
that
year.
was the idea where you started
Yeah.
from.
So the market is more mature,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't say being young is a disadvantage. Young is actually very advantageous. Didn't have too much hopes from ourselves. Everything that happened was a bonus. These days, people have hopes of ourselves, and we have hopes of.
That's like saying I'm a pessimist and I'm okay with it because anything that will happen will be a
Yeah,
good
no.
surprise.
I'm telling you, I'm not. I don't believe in cliches. Honestly, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just going from one step to another. And when you're young, you believe that it will work out somehow.
Confidence. I think you just
No,
have that
it's just that you're
belief.
naive.
Naive.
Confidence, naive, innocent, whatever.
Yeah.
So, you keep trying, you don't understand the mechanisms of the industry. You're not prejudiced by your opinion about people.
True.
It's a very, it's a good framework to start with. Today, I spent 24 years, and with all humility, every stakeholders, junior, senior, middle, owner, CEO, in every sector, subsector of this ecosystem, I have point of view on everybody. I mean, mostly it's positive.
Yeah.
But the fact is, they also have a point of view on us.
Yeah.
So they see us in a certain light.
Way.
So how if we pivot? How do we pivot? But we are called Exchange for Media.
Yeah.
And again, I still have that dream. We still have that dream of building Exchange for Media into a one-place marketplace for everything media. And it's never too late to do anything in life. When it is ordained to happen, it'll happen then.
Yeah. But what keeps your fire burning? What is the fuel really?
I'll tell you, I enjoy what I do. I keep saying that. And, when you run a company, there is also administrative part. And honestly, I'm not hands-on in Exchange for Media. Naval runs that. You know that. I spend all my time in Businessworld, where whatever I learned in E4, I'm doing in the B2B domain. And Businessworld is a B2C product. And there's a long way. So whatever I learned, I'm doing it in Businessworld. But for Exchange for Media, from a strategy point, I do think about, should we do a marketplace now? Of course, launch it in different parts of the world. At least MENA and Indonesia, definitely. How do we scale up what we do? What else can we build around what we've built? How do we use more technology? How do we really become a media tech player? So all those things anyway, I'm thinking all the time on my work. So we enjoy our work. And I don't see as the media advertising, marketing, communication fraternity as a business ecosystem. I see it as my fraternity.
Fraternity and
I
community.
see it as a community.
Yeah.
I never say no to anyone who comes to me for anything. Where sometimes I know that I can't add value. I tell them, but I still meet them. I don't know whether, a lot of people come for advice or connectivity or outreach. In this my community, I'm very happy to meet them without any expectation of anything. I think, as you know, life is about relationships. My true friends, while I have college friends, school friends, but my true, a lot of my relationships are in this sector for the last 2 decades. So they are my friends. I enjoy their company. I meet them. Some of them I socially see them with my family. So there is a sense of fulfillment in the deep relationships. So this industry has given me a meaning. It has given me my livelihood. It has given me a sense of community, a family, sense of family. Because I think of at the end of the day, it is a media is a family. There may be competition and every people's business have its share of people having a point of view on each other. All that is. But I want to tell you, we do the Exchange for Media News Broadcast Awards. This was the 16th edition. This year, we started by recognizing a group of 10 odd, 6 of them came on stage, of news coordinators, guest coordinators.
Yeah, guest coordinators. Yeah.
One young guy, which I used to engage with him, he died. He had a young baby. And so his friends got together. They created a WhatsApp group. Mamta, how much money there is for him in 2 months?
How much?
About 25 lakh rupees.
Wow.
So at least for 1
Wow.
year, 2 years, at least the
Yeah,
family
there's
will
some
go on.
support.
And we started by recognizing them. They did it out of pure love for
Love.
the family,
Yeah.
for the friend. So, there is a lot of good in every industry. You have to just look at it. And whatever you try and find, you'll find. If you try and find negative things in a community, in a person, in a company, you'll find it. If you want to find positive. So there's a lot of beauty in our industry. People are supportive. Yes, in every people industry, there is competition.
That is right.
People have a, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, but at the core of it, I mean, how do you see yourself? A technologist, an innovator, a change maker, an editorial person?
All that we can put, honestly, we all like that, seeing that in CVs or when we go to come. Honestly, I don't think like that. I feel I have a long way to go. I think we got something going, which is very, very good, and we're grateful to God. And the fact that they say the best form of praise is imitation.
Imitation.
There are 15 players, and with all humility, I don't think anybody has the time to go through beyond the first or maybe the second player. People don't have the time, and where do we leave the stories for anybody else to cover? 90% of the stories are broken by us, and I'm being safe.
Yeah.
Everyone copies our stories with all humility. So I don't know. And it's the people costs have gone up, the aspirations have gone up. So we have to grow a company to a certain size every year. And of course, editorially, we are much more strong. So there is not too much leeway for our editors to do much, because we are really neutral. We call a spade a spade. We are not shy to say what we have to say. So really, I believe that we are at a point where we have to raise the right questions. We may have the answers. The industry leaders may have the answers. But how do we grow the industry? While we want to be profitable, we want to grow our top line, our bottom line, we want to go overseas. Our whole domain is not about numbers. It's about the impact we make. What can we do to grow our domain? How can we, that's how we think. Of course, we also think of our numbers. To say we don't, that's not, we think about what we can do to. So really, it's an exciting time ahead. And I'm looking forward to kind of pivoting, orbit changing, using whatever we have, build something special.
Yeah. We've seen you disrupt, not once, so many times over. Events specifically, and when we saw things were really going down south during COVID, and how, I think E4M was the first one and the only one to go online and start doing the webinars, and all the conversations were all of us. And we were very skeptical. Industry was very skeptical. Events and online really didn't make any sense. How do you hold that vision for the future each time when there is a challenge or disruption that is thrown at you?
Again, Mamtaa, can I tell you? Some people say, oh, they got an idea. We had no choice. Where was the choice? We did it because we had more time. And we had to maintain continuity. So we had time, we had colleagues, we had to maintain continuity. So we kept doing, so it's not like some grand plan. We just, and honestly, in those days, we were living definitely month to month, if not week to week.
Yeah, totally.
So, we were doing it, hoping things will be better. And I remember the moment I did the IPRCC at the, and there was CA protest happening. No, that's before COVID. I think in the next event also we did there. So point is, we kept doing, and we started in online. Exchange for Media started. So we realized that it still has some connect. It's better, at the end of the day, video content is important. Bringing them on the platform is important. Also, the industry was very receptive to be on video platforms, to be doing online events. And online events have their value. But I can tell you, I mean, we tried doing this over Zoom, and it was good.
Yeah.
But trust me, it is not the same.
Not the same, true.
It is. We did what we did. We had a certain bottleneck. We did the best in that. But again, the idea was to just keep active, keep the site active.
Yeah.
We had people keep the people active, keep the community active, and hope things turn out for better. So it wasn't like and once we did 3-4, we realized there is traction.
There is traction.
And then we kind of scale that up.
Yeah.
So, really, these are very simple decisions. There's no there's some thought that goes into it, but it's not like at a lot of times when we start things, we don't know the answers. We don't know how we do it, and then it improves and it gets good traction. So we scale up, we do it. So it's, again, a lot of people talk about our events and, mostly complimenting us and giving us the credit for what we've created. But, I'm not in the business of events. I'm not in the business of we have a weekly in impact, not in the business of magazines. I'm not in the business of online, which is what Exchange for Media started. We are in the business of building a community where they access content through online. They read a print publication. They come to experiential events where all the stakeholders come together. So I think the way we've seen, not today, for 18, 20 years, is we are about the community. Whatever the community needs, we need to provide.
So if you would like to invite someone who is an unstoppable human or would just want to have a conversation with me, write to me at unboundwithmamta@gmail.com. That is unboundwithmamtaa@gmail.com. You can also follow my Instagram @Mamtaa Podcaster. That is MAMTAA Podcaster. How have you kept to the changing mindsets? Because this generation, believe you me.
Very good. They're very different.
Yeah.
In fact, last night I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
And today afternoon I was thinking.
How do you approve someone's leave when you are
मैं
yourself
सबकी
never
करता हूँ।
taking leaves? Then how?
मैं सबकी करता हूँ। मेरा देखिए, क्योंकि मेरा है कि that's what that person likes. And when somebody says wife, mother, father, health, I don't ask a question. There's no question. These days I say, यार पूछ तो लिया करो एक बार कि ये. So I expect people are responsible, they do it in the right. But I would say spend more time with your family. And I get more enjoyment. I definitely get enjoyment out of my work. But I enjoyed the Sunday much more than I ever enjoyed it in my whole life.
Yeah, what I was asking really is that when you are so tough on yourself, knowingly, unknowingly, wantingly, unwantingly.
I don't see it's tough.
But
so I like it, I have certain expectations from me.
Yourself.
So I have to deliver. I have responsibilities of people. I have commitments. I have dreams. I have aspirations. And God has given me a platform. God has given me the opportunity. So, if by putting, and luckily I enjoy my work. Only thing is to spend a little more time on my walking, spend a little more time at my work. In terms of reading, I want to take out 2 hours for reading. I don't consume content as much as I used to, which is my job also. So that's what I want, more time reading. And luckily I keep my phone away in the night. I sleep definitely 8 hours, 25 days a month. Sometimes at least 3-4 days, 9 hours, 10 hours. And on weekends, sometimes 10 plus hours, like I slept 11 hours on Saturday night. And almost 10 hours on Sunday night. And I went to a birthday party on Sunday. 8 o'clock was the invite. 8:20 I reached. I was the third person. I left the birthday party at 9:40. I was back home at 10:10. So I'm not a late night. I can be, but I don't like late nights. Because I have to work. And I initially started, stopped drinking alcohol. One, I don't like the taste. Second, if you drink alcohol, you can't work in the morning.
Yeah.
Whatever anybody may say. So I had to work, I quit. And now from a health standpoint, I think of it like anti-health.
Yeah.
Smoking, drinking is anti-health. There's nothing good about it. And I don't feel guilty when I say, oh, you don't drink. I don't.
No, so I'll just pull you back on that question about, the generational shifts
I
that
was
seen.
thinking about people, see, you have to respect and you have to understand. The people, we were having a conversation, me and a senior colleague of mine on Saturday or Friday, I don't know, about some of our young colleagues don't save. We are more conservative in buying things. Yeah. They are much more.
Yes, yeah.
So, I think that's how they are. And one thing I'm good at is accepting people as they are. So it's okay. Everybody is unique. As long as they're not dysfunctional and they're aligned.
कोई judgment नहीं आती है. You never.
आती तो है सब पे आती. तो ऐसा कहना कि ऐसा बॉस हर एक पे होती है. But I'll tell you, I'm very naive in some ways. I take people on face value and then I discover parts of them later It's
They
like
shock
sometimes
you. They shock you.
I worked with this guy for 5 years. This guy was subdued, and I was not wise enough to understand these good parts of his
Yeah.
personality or his aspirations, and maybe these not so good parts. So वो सब होता है.
होता है.
And human brain is judgmental. You judge every. But I minimized it. Zero तो नहीं हो सकता.
Yeah.
मेरे से नहीं हुआ. Zero नहीं हो सकता, but minimize कर दिया. And I move away from thought. Honestly, I want to do the right thing in the right manner in my head, whether anybody knows it, not knows it. And it is tough sometimes.
Yeah.
It is tough.
Some things that you really want to unlearn now.
I want to unlearn talking. I want to listen more. I want to unlearn whatever doesn't serve me for my next growth. I want to unlearn saying yes. I want to unlearn. I'm very soft as a person. So at work, whatever, I want to be a little more business-like. But I don't see it as a weakness. But I want to be better. I want to have more balance, like my wife. My wife has a good balance. And I admire her for balance. And she's a very simple person at a lot of levels. So that's what I want. Without losing whatever good I think I have.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to free up my time. Unlearn not to feel guilty or not working or taking. One thing I don't feel guilty is about sleeping more. So if I can take that to other parts.
Yeah.
See, I'll tell you, this happens. I told you about this book by Dr. Brené Brown called Gifts of Imperfection. What leads, he's a researcher on women's shame. And he wrote this book called Gifts of Imperfection. Guilt is a very strong emotion.
Yeah.
And these days I'm forgiving myself. I've done my best. If I made mistakes, they were part of my. Honestly, these days I don't even blame people. And I believe in astrology and all. You could laugh. I say, कई बार समय की बात होती है.
True.
It is not about that person being bad or me being bad. तो समय ठीक होता है, सब ठीक हो जाती है. So, again there is a saying philosophically. A person who blames himself for something that happened, that's not the right way. A person who blames other person for something that has happened, that's also not
the right thing.
A person is really blessed if you don't blame yourself or anyone.
Or anyone. Yeah.
So, really, I read it 3-4 years back and I said that why do somebody has to be wrong for me to be right?
Yeah.
And also, I've tried to minimize, unlearn. When somebody is not in the room, do not talk unkind about them, even if you have a professional point of view. And again, I haven't got to zero, but I'm very conscious and I will get to as close to zero. And have the courage to be able to do uncomfortable conversations, ask people what they need. So, balance is required. But effort भी मारना पड़ेगा.
बिल्कुल.
अब मेरे को आपके साथ पॉडकास्ट करना तो मैं आया हूँ. मैंने सोचा कि आज फिर मैं ममता को बोल दूंगा. How would I feel if I were in her? So then I found positive reasons. और कई बार क्या मन में ना छोटा सा ब्लॉक होता है.
Right.
If you get over it very fast ना सब कुछ हो जाता है.
True.
So, I'm happy. And I'm grateful and I'm sure God is blessing me.
Yeah. You've manifested many positive, many miraculous things also, if I may say. Have you manifested any of your fear in this lifetime?
Early in my life, yes. इसलिए मैं नेगेटिव नहीं सोचता हूँ. मैं वो बता नहीं पाऊंगा, but
That's
yes.
fine. That's fine.
100%. At least 2 I remember, which are big ones. So अब मैं सोचता ही नहीं नेगेटिव. इसलिए सब कुछ सोच पे है.
Right.
So, my mother when I was younger से प्रार्थना करते मंदिर में गुरुद्वारे में सुबुद्धि दो.
हाँ.
तो अभी सुबुद्धि क्या है? Good thoughts, सुविचार.
Yeah. Wisdom. Yeah.
Wisdom. And, it's a very different world. It's a very fast-paced world.
Yeah.
I also don't have sometimes time for people. I'd like to. I'm bombarded with requests to leave.
Yeah.
And I don't like to say no. But I have to prioritize. So, really, yes, I try and I do my yoga. I have to do my walking more than I do right now. I'm sure I'll be able to start. So, doing the right thing for the right reason in the right manner. sleeping easy, and knowing whatever needs to get better will get better. You pray to God, you make the efforts. There's a lot that gets better.
Yeah. When you're spread out, your energies are spread out so much. Like you are in a profession which demands a lot out of you, especially moving in public, moving in large crowds, moving with people, taking communities. And so, again, wantingly, unwantingly, knowingly, unknowingly, a lot of good, bad, and ugly comes to you. How do you conserve or preserve yourself?
मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था इसके बारे में पहले, 2-3 साल पहले तो. पर 2-3 साल पहले से आई एम वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट हु आई इनवाइट टू माय होम. मैंने कभी सोचा ही नहीं.
नहीं, किस में कितना इन्वेस्ट करना है
मैं ज़्यादा नहीं सोचता हूँ, पर आजकल सोचता हूँ, पहले नहीं सोचता. इसलिए नहीं कि कोई वो है, इसलिए कि मैं थोड़ा चूजी हो गया हूँ. मेरे पास समय की, मैं और फैमिली में, अपने में समय लगाना चाहता हूँ. मैं चीज़ें भी कम करना चाहता हूँ. विद इन माई वर्क, विद इन दैट अम्ब्रेला आई मे डू मोर थिंग, पर मैं नई चीज़ें नहीं करना चाहता हूँ. आई वांट टू ग्रो व्हाट आई हैव, इम्प्रूव व्हाट आई हैव, डीपन व्हाट वी हैव, improve the craft of what we do. आजकल सोचता हूँ, और आजकल I am less guilty of saying no. I can't say I'm at zero, but I am less. I can be better in a lot of things. I look at what I can improve. If someone asks me for advice, I give them, but I don't want to pontificate. Though I have a point of view on everyone, अगर कोई पूछेगा तो, and I take time to think about whatever feedback. I write it down. I don't give off the cuff feedback to anyone. Because every word you say to someone matters. I realize if you say something to me in front of me or behind me, it matters. Energy matters. और क्या, जाको राखे साइया मार सके ना कोई. ईश्वर की बहुत कृपा है. I do my karma right. और कई बार क्या होता है, जो जब होना होता है तब होता है. मेरा इंटेंट होता है किसी से मिलने का, सडनली कुछ आ गया, मैं गया ही नहीं वहाँ. सैटरडे को शादी मिस कर दी मैंने आफ्ताब की, अब मेरे को बॉम्बे जाना पड़ेगा, तो उसमें भी कुछ अच्छा होगा. तो ऐसे मैं अपने दिल को बहला लेता हूँ. मैं थोड़ा सा क्रिप करता हूँ, छोटा मोटा. आई फ्लैजिलेट माई सेल्फ. थोड़ा 5 मिनट पहले 1 घंटा करता था, 2 दिन तक चलती थी मेरी कि यार तूने मिस कर दिया. ठीक है, I mean, I write a nice mail to the person I missed, apologize, and make up for the next opportunity. I believe whatever is happening for good. And there are people, like I won't take name, the person, but a very important person, and he's a very close friend of mine for 20 years. I hold him in high esteem. And he said something about me to another friend of mine, who told it to another friend who came, and this person wants something from me.
Like a
for
reaction?
1 week, some from one. No, then he said something careless because he said it about 20 people, so not just me, I'm told. And he was a very big guy. He's no longer that big a guy. In their in my view, he's still a very big guy. And I give him that respect. And I bumped into him today also. And he asked me to do something for him. And he's been chasing me. I got it done. I thought about it. 2 दिन सोचा करूँ कि नहीं करूँ. मैंने बोला मेरा कर्मा तो अच्छा होगा ना.
But before I call it a wrap, there is still a last leg to the show, which I call like a rapid reflex round. Of course, there have been a lot of questions and a lot of, throwing you into many zones. But this one is my personal favorite because it's a quick sort of a rapid fire round. I will throw at you a volley of questions. You would have not much time and not much... you can just answer. Yes, very, very short answers. Just a word or maybe a sentence. So are you ready for this, Dr. Batra?
Absolutely.
All right. Never have you ever. Just complete the sentence for me.
Left any food on the table.
Okay. One thing you'd like to say to your 16-year-old self.
I wish I'd never drunk.
Oh, okay. One most embarrassing moment of your life?
Once I was in an event and I went to the washroom and then forgot to zip my, trousers.
Your date of marriage is? You don't have to think.
No, 24th May 2001.
Okay. How does Neeti completes you? Just in one word or one sentence.
Inner balance, and inner sacrifice.
Faith to you is?
Knowing that God is always looking for you and your parents' prayers and blessings are always protecting you.
Happiness to you is?
Giving your best to anything and seeing the results of that. Helping somebody or collaborating with someone, doing something selflessly, that gives me most happiness. And then any project that I'm part of, giving it your best gives me happiness.
Pratna and Pratham.
Prasann.
Prasann, yeah.
Pratna and Prasann are the two most important. These days I think a lot about them. Most important people in my life.
Joy to you is?
A travel agency. My wife owns Joy Travels. But joy to me is 12 hours of sleep if I could do it every day.
All right. The biggest news that you have broken till date?
I don't know. We've done a lot. So, I'll tell you the happiest moment. So I got into NDA in 93.
Okay.
I used to be very thin. So that is one of the happiest moments. Second is my marriage to Neeti. Then is my children being born. These are the happiest moments
Of your life.
Of my life. And once my sister is a school teacher. She was in a certain school. She wanted a transfer to another school. And luckily God helped us get her that transfer. So she sent me a text one day saying, though you're my younger brother, it feels like you're my older brother. So I felt really, really good because I am her younger brother. There's no question about that.
It's so sweet. One unfinished business that you have to be done with before you leave this planet?
Right now I'm only thinking of growing Businessworld. And second is being able to support my children to be who they are. I'm not thinking, about the world, about my country. Only thing I think about my country is how the Western media portrays India. It magnifies India's disadvantages and it kind of does not magnify India's strengths. So I want to be able to do, because India is doing very well.
Yeah.
Because of its people and so on and so forth. Its culture, its tolerance, even leadership, I'm not a political person and take the politics. The government has done a lot of things right, whether it's the digital. So I do think about, that's the only thing, because that's my area and I feel I can how do we make sure that the right positives about India are communicated to the world in media? So India, that's something I think about, because
India
I feel like
repositioning at a global
level. I know
level.
It's against repositioning is like, that's the Prime Minister's job. But yes, in my own way, whatever, because that's what I feel I know a little bit.
India's change
for
story.
example, about 2 years back, in October, when India completed 500 million doses, BBC and CNN they ran saying 500 million still left. And I got like really worked up.
Yeah.
I said, we've done 500 million vaccinations and still talking about what the other half. So, though sometimes I see stories, news. I mean, the Indian Prime Minister, I must tell you, not today. From the time Nehru, Indira Gandhi, they're going to America or Europe, we get very little coverage.
Yes.
It's India's Prime Minister.
Yes.
We are who we are. So I feel that they can give a much more fair share to India and for the right reasons. That's what I think of.
One thing that you want to be remembered as?
I don't think about it right now. Honestly, I want to I don't think about legacy, this. I want to do the right thing. And I want to be able to make sure the people that have worked with me for long years, their lives are better. That I think about, but I don't think very
fair.
Right now I feel I have a lot to fix, accomplish, and God will help me. And there'll be a time I'll think about it. I think about my daughter's internship in the US right now. I'm thinking about my son's internship. I'm thinking about some of my friends' children's internships. Those are things on my mind.
Sure.
My work, my billings are on my mind. My parents are on my mind. My sister has asked me to do something that's on my mind.
Fair.
Losing weight is on my mind. These are the kind of, I don't think about such, honestly.
Sure. One favorite talk show, podcast show?
No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. This
TV
is my
show?
favorite TV show which I have not watched for 2 months. which is unusual.
Yeah.
Every Sunday, 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m., the time change. Farid Zakaria's GPS. I never used to miss it. Last 2 months, I haven't seen it. I think it's the best talk show. If you watch it, and I'm very interested in what's happening in the world, I have a point of view and everything, not from today, for 40 years. I used to read newspapers when I was 8, 10 years old, read 10 magazines when I was 8, 10 years old. So that's my. Then is Christina Amanpur's show.
Yeah, you mentioned this.
These two I really love. I don't watch too many podcasts. I don't hear too many podcasts. So I can't say. But the book that, I've read a lot of books and I keep buying a lot of books. I love the 2 Timothy Ferris books. I don't listen to his podcast, but that's the first podcast on my list to listen. As I said, I don't consume enough content. That's an area I want to.
Yeah. Yeah. And if not the life that Dr. Annurag Batra is living, what would he be doing?
I don't know the answer. Honest answer, I don't know the answer. But when I see these food bloggers today, I say, that's a good job. Any
Finish
other
all
job
the
when I
food
was
on the
younger, I used
table.
to only these travel writers.
Yeah.
These are 2 jobs that fascinated me, but I don't know honest answer.
Yeah.
It's not difficult to give you, I don't know.
That's
Honest
fine.
answer
That's
is
fair.
I don't know.
That's fair.
But, I do think about, I love reviewing books. I would love reviewing books, talking to authors. That's what I enjoy a lot.
Sure.
If there was a job just talking to authors about books, that'd be a great job.
Super. And anything as a parting note that you would like to say to our viewers, to our listeners?
Mamta, I've said everything. I just say that be happy with yourself, look after your family, look after your health. There is a power of compounding, whether in saving money or in changes you make to your schedule or health. And really never give up. Never feel low. I feel low energy when I'm low on sleep. But I never feel depressed. That word has never. Maybe I'm too busy to be depressed. I don't know. But it's not that I've not felt low energy in life. Some days I've been sad, like normal. And it's a fleeting, as long as you don't. So don't be depressed. If you're alive, you're blessed. If you have a job, you're blessed. If you have your parents, you're blessed. If you're doing what you love, you're blessed. So always compare yourself with people who have less. You'll feel happy. And always aspire and be inspired by people who have accomplished something.
Yeah.
And I keep saying this, that embrace the 3 H's. One is hope. I genuinely wake up every day hoping today will be better than yesterday, and I make an effort. And trust me, God helps. If I make a small effort, God helps me 100 times more. So hope is very important. If you have hope, you have everything in life. You'll come out of any situation. You'll come out of health care. So hope. Be around people who give you hope. Second is hard work. There's no substitute to hard work. Third is humility. Be nice to people. Be humble. It helps your own self. And I keep saying, avoid the 3 C's. If you can eliminate, it's great, 100%. One is complaining. Don't complain. Second is don't criticize people. Third is don't compare. And all 3 are tough in today's environment. But you can minimize. That's what I'd say to all your listeners and viewers.
Thank you so much, sir, for truly unbounding with us.
Thank you, Mamta.
You're totally being unfiltered, sharing your joy, journey, purpose, fear, challenge, everything here. I really wish a very blissful, happy, fulfilled, and lot more time on your hand life to you. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode, and for all the episodes you can come back to Unbound with Mamta, now available on 20+ audio streaming platforms: Spotify, Amazon, Gaana, iTunes, Google Podcasts, or wherever else you get your audio. We are also available on YouTube at the Boss Hub channel. So keep unbounding together.